Hi! Do you think that long runs should be a part of your training program only if you're a long distance runner? Then you're wrong. And in this video, I will tell you why. These days, the long run is not only for those who run marathons or longer. Nowadays, the long run is a part of many runners' training program, regardless of whether they are to compete in 5K, 10K or longer. And as you probably know, the long run has been an iconic running session for a long time. The big difference between now and maybe 20 to 30 years ago is that many coaches prescribe long runs to be more competitive and tougher these days. I know that there are some runners that don't do long runs but get good results anyway, but I think for most runners it's an important part of their training. So why should you do long runs? When you do long runs, you will increase the number of capillaries in the muscles, and that in turn will make the oxygen supply to the muscles more efficient. And the more oxygen you can deliver to your muscles, the better your performance will be. Besides that, you will also strengthen your tendons, ligaments and muscles, which of course will play a role in any race. If you compete in shorter distances, and as the long run is an aerobic activity, it will mainly help you to conduct race-specific training like intervals, since you will get stronger muscles and ligaments. When you do long runs, you will also improve your body's ability to use fat as fuel. You will accustom the body to use fat as an energy source as the carbohydrate depots becomes depleted. You should also not forget the mental side of the long run. For me, as a long distance runner, that's one of the main reasons to why I do my long runs, since the long run will give me a sense on how I will feel going into the last kilometers of a race. If I have felt that kind of fatigue before the race, it will not come as a total surprise, and I will be able to handle those negative thoughts better. When you're really tired at the end of any race, if you can handle those negative thoughts and try to stay positive, you will have an advantage over your competitors. So remember that sessions like long runs and also tough intervals is not only to train your muscles but also to train you mentally. And also, if you're about to run your first half or full marathon, you will feel more confident when standing on the start line if you have done some longer runs in your training leading up till your race. I myself had tried to run marathons both with and without long runs in my training. And I have been able to finish those races regardless, but it has for sure been a more pleasant journey when I have included them in my training against when I have not. I also experienced that I don't get as tired the days after the race and can get back to my usual training somewhat fast. So when should you do your long runs? I think that if you want to have time to recover and to do other valuable types of workouts, then the long runs shouldn't be more often than maybe once a week. I prefer to run them around every 10 days to have time for my other sessions. But most important is that you do them, and that you do them with consistency. Let long runs be a part of your training plan. If you have a race coming up in the near future, your last long run should be around 2 weeks before that race, but it should not be your longest run that near race day. Instead, you can run it at a pace that is gradually increased, so it in the end will correspond to the speed you intend to keep in the race, like a long progressive run. There are many approaches on how you can run your long run. There is a lot of inspiration to be found on how you can do them, and the most common approach to the long run is to do them at an easy and steady pace for around 2 hours, but it can be done in so many ways. You can alter your long runs in as many ways as you can alter your interval sessions. When can you call a run for a long run? There is no right answer to that question, because it's very different for someone who just started running and may just run 10 to 20 minutes at a time. Then a long run can be a 40-minute run. But as you progress as a runner, your long runs should do as well. You should go from 40 minutes to 60 minutes to 90 minutes. As a long distance runner, I think it's after 2 hours you get the real benefits of the long run. For me, who ran a marathon in just about 3 hours and 15 minutes, my longest runs are around 3 hours, and they give me the confidence I need on the start line. If I run longer than that, I will get too fatigued, and the training days the week after will be badly affected. You need to figure out what works best for you. And I think the long run is also depending on how long your other sessions are. If you do your other sessions all around 1 hour, then you will get real fatigue if you then run for 3 hours on your long run, regardless of any intake of energy and so on. If you're not used to long runs, be sure to build up those long runs slowly, so not getting injured. You don't have to run all your long runs in the same steady pace. But one thing that applies to every long run is that you should ease into them and increase speed gradually. You can embed almost any type of workouts into your long run. For example, you can do fartleks. That's a Swedish word and it means to play with speed. It's like a form of unstructured speed work. Maybe you can run 1 kilometer fast and then 2 kilometer easy and then repeat. Or you can just head out without a detailed structure and just go by how you feel. How you alter your long runs is also depending on how often you do them. Not every long run should be a workout. Do them maybe every other long run, and if you do them more often, you will need to have more time in between. My favorite is the progressive long run, to slowly run faster and faster and to finish in my marathon race pace. If needed, you can split the long run into 2 sessions a day. But if you do, the workout should be tougher than if you would have run the distance in one go. For example, if you split your 2-hour run into 2 sessions and run for 1 hour in the morning and then the rest later that evening, you have been able to recover and replenish your energy stores. And that's why you don't get the same training effect as if you would have done the same session in one go. Then you would have forced your body to run somewhat fatigued for the last 20 to 30 minutes. If you want to step up your game even more and really want to feel what it's like to run with tired legs, you can run a longer quality session the day before your long run, to be sure that your legs will be real fatigued at the end of your long run. But don't do that too often, since it wears quite a lot on the body. And if you like watching running content like this, you should subscribe to my channel to be sure not to miss any of my videos. Now we have gone through the why, when and how regarding long runs. But what about energy intake? First, I don't think you should need to change anything in your diet the day before. Quite the opposite, that you shouldn't eat something you're not used to. Hopefully, you already eat a good quality and diverse diet so that you should be able to accomplish a long run without any carb loading. But I do think you should bring some energy on your runs over 90 minutes. Then you will be able to complete your long runs more pleasant if you're not completely exhausted at the end. And I also feel that recovery takes longer if I haven't consumed any energy during my long runs. It also meant a thing for me, to have something to look forward to reward myself after an hour with maybe a gel or chocolate. If I run 3 hours or more, I also need to bring something more solid like a cinnamon bun or similar. Another reason to why you should bring energy on your long runs is because you need to try out any energy that you will have on the day of the race. Either you can carry out energy and water in a backpack, or you can display your stuff somewhere on your route and just run a loop that makes you run past your energy station now and then. Sometimes I just run by a gas station and buy a cup of coffee and a snack. And at the same time, I can use the toilet if needed. After you run, it's important to fuel up directly. Your muscles have been working hard and they need to be repaired and rebuilt. You also have lost a lot of electrolyte through sweat. New research questions the so-called open window when you should eat. That you need to eat within 30-40 minutes after you run or your recovery is ruined. That's not the case, but the sooner the body receives protein for the muscles and refuels the carbohydrate stores, the sooner the rebuilding process can begin. So there's no reason to wait with the recovery meal. Don't forget that the long run can be varied endlessly in terms of speed and length, and that they are the key in building endurance. Therefore, I think it should be a part of every runner's training program. If you do some of your long runs in the winter time, I think you should watch this video. And if you want to see more running content like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel and see you again next week. Have a nice run. See you soon. Bye!